Welcome to Making a Difference. My name is Todd Morgan, and we have a very, very interesting guest today by the name of ElanCarr. You'll be interested and fascinated about what he does for a living and where he's going. Welcome, Elan.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
My first question is, what experience or experiences in your lifetime influenced you to get involved in the important things you're doing today?
Look, I think I've always been motivated by wanting to make a difference in people's lives and wanting to help ordinary Americans deal with the problems that they face every day. And so I joined the military because I was concerned about the security threats facing our country. And I spent a year in Iraq, and I helped to lead an anti-terrorism team there. And then in my second assignment, my tour was extended, I prosecuted terrorists in Iraq. And so I saw the threats we face from both sides. On one hand, leading an anti-terrorism team in life-saving missions throughout the country, and then holding terrorists who hurt our soldiers accountable and punishing them for what they did. Then when I got back to Los Angeles, I joined the district attorney's office, and today I'm a criminal gang prosecutor, again, fighting to keep Americans safe. And so I think that's really what motivates me, keeping Americans safe, and safe not only from physical threats, but also keep them safe in their lives. Economic security is part of feeling safe as well. And so economic security, the security of knowing that our kids will be taken care of in an education system that works. All of those things motivate me very deeply.
Well, where did that start? How did you get motivated? Was it at a young age? Was your father involved in similar activities?
Well, you know, I think, Todd, that it starts from my childhood. I'm the son of immigrants. And From Iraq. My mother actually grew up, she was a young girl in Iraq, and she saw her father be arrested for, they were subject to persecution. They were a Jewish family in Iraq, and her father was arrested. She watched him be carted off to prison, and she visited him in prison, and they fled. My mother, as a young girl, her baby brother and her mother fled as refugees out of the country, and my stepfather fled Nazi-occupied Bulgaria, and my father-in-law fled communist Romania. I mean, my family really came initially to Israel, but then to the United States in pursuit of the American dream. And so I think gratitude for our country and for what America stands for has been ingrained in me since I was a young kid. And so for me, you know, I always ask myself what I can do to make America even better. And look, we have a wonderful country, but we could be doing so much better in so many ways, economically, in terms of our education system. And that's something that I believe should motivate all of us.
So, for our viewers, you're running again. You're running for Henry Waxman's seat in Washington. Yeah. There you get a chance to make a difference in all those areas that you're talking about. And is there anything you want to add that the reason you want to run for that congressional seat in Washington? Well,
I think, you know, I have a track record of service and of standing up to answering the call and to answering the challenges that we confront today as a society and as a people. And again, when I felt our country was in danger, I served in the military and I served in Iraq. And today, I protect Americans from the predators that afflict them on our streets and our cities. And so, you know, here I see an opportunity to make a real difference and to keep Americans safe, and then also to help, you know, build a better future for our country. You know, look, take crime, for example. I'm second to none in terms of putting people away for a long time for the terrible things they do. But, you know, we can't just handcuff our way out of the crime problem. You know, every day in my job, I see the results of a failed education system. And I see young kids who are drawn into lives of violence and terror and despondence because, in part, not entirely, but in large part because of schools that have failed them and that don't empower them, and that don't, my goodness, empower them, in some cases don't even teach them to read. And so this is something that we have to, as Americans, fix. We're obligated to do it. And so I'm running for Congress in order to make our schools better and make our communities stronger and keep Americans safe.
What's your biggest challenge as a district attorney for the County of Los Angeles regarding crime?
Well, I think the chief law enforcement challenge we face is from gangs. Criminal street gangs account for the vast majority of violent crime in our cities and in LA County.
You gave me a high number. What is it, 60%?
Oh, it's I think the latest number is, I think 80%.
80%
of the murders in Los Angeles are gang related, and it's atrocious. You know, I prosecute murder cases. I prosecute attempted murder cases. I've prosecuted attempted murder on police officers.
Wow.
And all sorts of horrendous assaults. I also prosecute domestic violence cases, and so, you know, I have held the hands and consoled women victims who face predators every day in their own homes, and it's heart-wrenching. And so I think part of the challenge is, on one hand, punishing wrongdoers, which we have to do. We have to punish those who hurt other people. That's a moral obligation we have. But on the other hand, answering the urgent questions of why are young people drawn to crime? Why are inner cities such violent places? How can we, how can we empower people and give them a sense of purpose and of meaning, so that our communities are better and so that kids are raised with a view toward a limitless potential for their futures, instead of, dragged down to violence and hopelessness. And that I think is a question we need to answer, but also, Todd, I think these are questions we can answer. These are not insoluble problems. We just have to come together and solve these problems.
And thank you for making a difference.